people want to work for a business that is both wise and compassionate. Have you ever thought of those words in the context of your business? Hey, it's Joel Walsman, CEO and Master Electrician of Jefferson Electric. I'm about to share with you a few tidbits that have improved the health and wellness and accelerated the growth at Jefferson Electric. Number 12, get uncomfortable and fail forward. So first let me say, bad decisions make great stories. So in 2012, we made a decision, a good decision, to get free training. It was free, it was grant funded, and we jumped into solar energy. We were electricians and we expanded into a new business vertical. That was cheap. Fast forward a couple of years, we're building incrementally upon our training with experience. Small jobs, slightly larger jobs, unique opportunities, and in 2016, we decided to take one large step forward and wrap our arms around the biggest project that we had attempted to date. It was a solar energy ground mount project, and we got smacked in the face with everything that could go wrong on that project. We had things we'd never encountered before. We had weather contingencies were not written into our contract. We had material shortages and supply delays and so on and so forth. We had manifold issues. And at the end of that project, we were $50,000 upside down. What would have happened if we had failed to fail forward, if we had failed to learn from our mistakes, if we didn't recognize the value, the incredible value of those experiences? We would have stopped dead in our tracks and we would have passed on tens of millions of dollars of revenue that have come from solar energy projects since that time. Number 11, put your business in the cloud. What do I mean by that? Okay, this may work for other contractors too, but right now I'm talking about us, electrical and solar energy contractors. It's been phenomenal for us. You see, a lot of times we approach a problem with a penny wise, pound foolish solution. What do I mean by that? We don't quantify the cost of labor because we're writing those checks and making payroll and we can see people are working hard, but we fail to quantify the cost of labor on a specific function. So when I say put your business in the cloud, what I'm saying is it's cheaper to pay a dedicated, focused, excellent software platform to replace the function of a human. And what does that look like? Let me give you a for instance, Company Cam. We operated for far too long without Company Cam. Company Cam is a photo and video storage software. It costs $19 a month per user. Worth every penny. Love it. Link in the description. Here's the deal. We had photos across all kinds of different projects being stored on your phone, on my phone, on his drive, on that drive, in Google, on desktop, on all these different places. And so when you need to reference important warranty information, important as-builts, important information of all types, it's scattered across so many. With 50 team members, I've got 6 places I can store photos. That's 50 times 6. That's 300 little caches of important information scattered across the entire company without uniformity and a single source of truth. Well, right now, Company Cam is our single source of truth for vital information, project reports of all types, and documents related to job execution. Number 10. Do what you do best and let others do the rest. This is what I mean. Early on in business, I started hiring team members. I had to get payroll going ASAP, and I went to ADP. I was pretty quickly determined that they had a best-in-class product, but it was expensive. And so I went to a little mom and pop shop, didn't have nearly as a robust offering as ADP, but it was cheaper by like 20 bucks a pay period. That was big money. So I went to the mom and pop. I said, I think I'm going to move forward with you. I just have to tell the other vendor I've been talking to it's a no-go. I want to respect everyone in the equation, the time and energy that they're putting into our solution. So I went to ADP and I said, hey, I can't afford you guys. I'm going to go with the cheaper offering. And they said, how much are they charging? I said, it's $20 less a month. Here it is. They said, we'll match that forever. And so, small business was able to get small pricing by negotiating, and I was able to outsource payroll, compliance, reporting, Department of Workforce Development, etc., etc., etc. Do what you do best, pay others to do the rest. Here's another for instance. At Jefferson Electric, we're just large enough that we have almost full-time HR needs. We tried HR in-house for a long, long time. But do you know what happens? That HR person, skilled as they may be, reports to me. And what do I know about HR? Very little. Not much. HR is a compliance HR, not strategic HR, that's different. Compliance HR is a distraction that falls outside of my skill sets. So what did I do? I ended up hiring an HR firm. I've got HR support from the entry level kind of associate all the way up to professional HR legal counsel and everything in between at the same cost of that team member that I was attempting to manage and didn't have the capacity to do. Number 9. One of my favorite phrases is delegate and elevate. What happens when you delegate a responsibility to a team member? You elevate your ability to look farther, to think bigger, and to make important decisions for the long-term success of your business. And you elevate that team member with a sense of ownership, with a sense of responsibility, with the opportunity to exercise the muscle that is appropriate for their role and title. Delegate and elevate. This is what it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like abdicate. Be available to that team member. Be available with a check-in. You still may have the responsibility for accountability to the success of that team member, those metrics, that responsibility. So don't abdicate, don't disappear from the equation, but delegate and elevate. Here's advice that I received from an acquaintance. Hire the best people you can. Invest as much in them as you can, and then hand off everything you possibly can to them, and your growth and the growth of the organization will be explosive. Mark Twain said, great things happen when you don't care who gets the credit. Number 8, guys, invest in yourself. You are one of your best team members on your own team. You'll pay yourself dividends. Invest in yourself. Right? Simon Sinek, man, digesting his content has shaped how I think about everything. Culture is our differentiator, and Simon Sinek has impacted our ability to identify and articulate our cultural values and our cultural deficiencies. Patrick Lencioni has impacted, and his podcast, that's impacted our hiring process, our recruiting process, who we're looking for, and how we verbalize who we're looking for to our team so that they can become natural promoters of that process. We've got clarity. You get clarity, you get momentum, you get passion, you get insight and understand. These things, these intangibles are incredibly valuable. Invest in yourself as a whole person and find a daily routine of how and where that's going to take place. Number 7, invest in your team. Every hire, when you ask them, what do you want out of this employment opportunity? If they're between the ages of 16 and 36 years old, you know what the number 1 answer is? Far and above everything else. Number 1, opportunity and experience. That's what they want. If you don't provide opportunity for growth, opportunity for expansion, opportunity for training, opportunity for a path forward, another employer will, because they're hungry for that. A top performer doesn't want a ceiling. A top performer wants opportunity. You're gonna lose your best people to other places if you don't provide that investment, if you don't provide that opportunity. Number 6, fear is a misuse of your God-given imagination. Fear of the future? That's right, it's a misuse of your God-given imagination. All right, so let's talk about panic and fear for a moment. I'm gonna take you home real quick. I was working with a mentally handicapped individual to rip out a wall in my house. I had to jump to go sign papers on a house and jump back. I gave him really clear instructions. I was gone for 45 minutes tops. And when I come back, he's sitting on the front porch and he says, Joel, your kitchen ceiling's sagging, Joel. Ah! I knew exactly what happened. I went running in the house, and he had ripped out the entire exterior structural wall of the house that was 14 feet wide. It was without support. There were 2 more stories, a second and a third floor, sitting on top of that wall. And my kitchen ceiling was like already toast. It was already unsalvageable. It had about an 8-inch sag from edge to center. It was terrifying. So we as quickly as we could, shored up that wall of the house, braced it. We ended up having to rip out the kitchen ceiling, and I tell you what, because we ripped out the kitchen ceiling, because we went further than we would have gone, because we vaulted it, it turned out to be the most beautiful kitchen. I've had so many compliments and comments on that kitchen. Literally, I've had like friends of friends come over and be like, this kitchen is sexy. It was phenomenal. It was one of the best things. It looked like absolute wreckage in the moment, but it turned into total beauty and incredible success. And I wouldn't have gone that far. I wouldn't have taken it to that level. I had a smaller vision, but I was forced outside of my comfort zone. I was forced into a unique solution because of the mishaps that took place. We all have those redemptive stories. Don't panic. Don't go to panic. Find some mental discipline to see opportunity instead of just distress. Number 5. We had a poverty mindset for a while. We thought we were being really cost effective by purchasing used equipment and maintaining it and paying cash up front. We couldn't afford brand new equipment, cash up front. But after tracking our vehicles on a spreadsheet 2 years, 3 years on end, what we came to notice was it was actually cheaper to buy brand new vehicles, to finance them, to avoid the cost of repairs, and to avoid work stoppages and disruptions because of breakdowns and failures. We are saving money by purchasing a better, newer fleet of vehicles. Number 4, everybody has a number. What do I mean by that? Everybody has 1, 2, or possibly as many as 3 numbers that indicate success in a specific category. It has to be a simple, clear, objective, easily understood number. Let me give you a for instance. Secretary answering the phone needs to answer the phone within 2 rings. 2 is the number. 2 determines success from a customer experience standpoint. It's easy. Here, let me give you a better story. Charles Schwab had steel mills all over the country over 100 years ago. One steel mill in particular had a great manager, really quality guy, knew his stuff, but it was an underperforming steel mill. Charles Schwab shows up and he says, "What's going on with the steel mill?" And the manager says, "I don't know. I can't get people to, it's just, we're not clear. I don't know." Charles Schwab says, "Okay, you got a day shift and a night shift. How many heats of steel did your day shift turn out today?" And the plant manager says, 5. And so Charles Schwab, not another word, grabs a piece of chalk and writes a big, massive number 5 on the floor of the main entryway. And he walks out. The night shift comes in, they're like, "What is this 5? What's going on here? I've never seen that." And the plant manager says, "Oh, that's how many heats of steel the day shift turned out today." And the night shift, they look at each other and they're like, "Oh, totally." They scrub it out. At the end of their shift, they write a big number 6. They've completed 6 heats of steel. Day shift comes in, they're like, "What's the number 6? What's going on here?" That's how many batches the night shift, day shift says, no, wait a second. They turn out 7. Night shift comes back. They are now self-competing. They have everybody on the team is operating according to one number, which dictates success. The most underperforming steel mill became the highest performing steel mill in the country in a matter of weeks. Number 3, everything has a system. That means every function in your business is a system that is known and followed by all. Oh, that's actually a heavy lift. That's harder to do than you might think. For a guy like me who's not systems and processes oriented, that's a responsibility that I need to delegate so I can elevate. So I can elevate my team, our structure. But here's the deal. Hold on to this phrase. Easily repeatable systems. If you implement easily repeatable systems, you can have the confidence that growth and success and financial profitability will be yours. Because every major company in the world is built on lots of very small, easily repeatable systems. So 2 examples of what I'm talking about. 1, when I'm terminating wire in a panel, my simple process is to terminate the ground, neutral, hot. It's the same on a receptacle, ground, neutral, hot. It's the same on a switch, ground, neutral, hot. What I'm doing is I'm creating a mental system and process so that I'm actually utilizing less brain power and yielding more consistent results by having a simple, consistent process. Easy. Number 2, effective internal communication. I'm huge on effective internal communication. We use a software platform called Slack, link in the description. And Slack is our team communication tool. I love Slack, but I'm pretty religious about how it's utilized. So channels are labeled. The right people are invited to those channels. There's protocol on how they're used. There's protocol on how you tag and notify and snooze and mute. And if somebody gets it wrong, everybody on the team has the gracious privilege of highlighting that, and everybody with ownership rights on Slack has the ability to delete a post and move it over and share it on the appropriate channel so that all the information is always found in the right places. Number 2, leadership is the skill required to take good care of people. We call you leaders because you are first to the difficult, first to the unknown, first to the danger. Simon Sinek, love that guy. Wise leaders have heart counts and not head counts. People want to work for a business that is both wise and compassionate. Have you ever thought of those words in the context of your business? If you follow the pack, you'll get lost in the crowd. Follow the follower is the most unrewarding game on the planet. Let's look at nature for a second. Geese, that lead goose, he's cutting the wind and he's reducing drag for all the other geese, right? He's a leader. He's first into the difficult. Let's look at penguins. Penguins, follow the follower. Do you know that in zoos, large obstructions are placed in the middle of penguin exhibits because penguins will start to route around that obstruction and other penguins will start to follow in line behind them, and you'll get this circle of penguins to where nobody is following anybody and everybody's following everyone, and they don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it, but they're all walking in a perfect circle around the obstruction. It's a known phenomenon. Number 1, define a single source of truth for everything. What do I mean by that? That is the ultimate reference point for vital information. In finances at Jefferson Electric, it's QuickBooks Online. For team communication, it's Slack. For field reports, it's CompanyCam. For HR documents, it's Heartland Information Systems. Define a single source of truth and make sure that everything related to that lives there, properly categorized and organized, and nowhere else. So many important things fall through the cracks when there is not a single source of truth for every function in your business. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Check the description for all the information that I've just talked about, and drop a comment below if you've got a story to tell, if you've got an experience. If you disagree, I would love to dialogue with you. Thanks. And subscribe to Electric Pro Academy for real skills to make real money.